Hello everyone, welcome to MediaNama. In May this year, the caller identification service Truecaller launched an AI voice scanner meant to detect deepfake calls. To understand the service better, we spoke to Raphael, Mimoun and Festinger from the Truecaller team. So just super quickly, I was wondering if you could give us an idea of how the scanner works.
So basically, the AI call scanner is a model, an AI model that analyzes voice, and it can determine if the voice is originally a human speaking, or is it a voice that was generated by an AI model that generates fake voices. And the idea is to have users, to give users the tools to be able to detect between the two in phone calls that they're receiving.
So how does it really identify what is a call coming from a human being and what isn't? Like, how is it identifying AI generated calls?
So the model is trained to in every audio there are specific artifacts that characterize that specific audio segment. So our model is basically trained to detect those artifacts that are specifically for cloned voices that are not of real human beings. There are a few changes. So it could be changes in pitch, it could be changes in frequency, but in general, there are specific artifacts that are specifically for this type of voices.
So if I was to like ask you for an example of like specific things it would look for, pitch would be one of them. And is there anything else?
So for instance, in many on the generators online, let's see, 11 Labs, and also the new one that just came a few months ago from Microsoft, they actually embed a watermark inside those. So that's an example that the human ear cannot hear it, right? But machines and our model can detect it.
Could you give me a little bit of an idea on the kind of data that the scanner has been trained on? Sort of what helps it identify these changes? I understand that one of it is because there are these watermarks that have been put in place, but sort of other things that it looks for based on what it's been trained on.
So again, in general, we train it on significant amount of synthesized and cloned voices with many different providers and many of the things that you can find online, almost all of them. And each one has obviously different characteristics. So each one is working differently and has different type of things that are detected.
Does this scanner really account for things like accents, voice types, all of that?
No, not yet. We currently only work in English, and it doesn't work, like it doesn't even look in that kind of spectrum. It's a much more narrow spectrum. Yeah.
And also, I saw in the press release that Truecaller had put out that you said that there was a high degree of accuracy that the model was providing. So, could you like give us a little bit of specifics on the exact false positives or negative rates that you've been seeing based on lab tests and based on like field tests as well?
Yeah. So we are on clone voices, what we call deep fakes, right? Someone tries to take some kind of engine online, it doesn't really matter which, and clones your voice and try now to use it. We have a very high detection rate. It's above 95%. For synthetic voices, it's less. It's above 80. We do have the limitation of phone lines, right? We operate over the phone. It's not like me and you now are talking online on Zoom. The quality can be degraded in many times. So it's also something we're taking into account.
Right. That's again something that I wanted to ask you as well, which was deepfakes consistently keep on changing? How frequently do you expect that you would have to sort of retrain the model or update it to sort of keep it effective? What are you thinking as of now?
It's
about
quite often.
Mm.
It's something that needs to be done. New technologies. I mean, you're a tech journalist. I mean, we have GPT-O just came out a few months ago, I think. So there's always new things. Yeah. So it's an ongoing kind of work.
Are you seeing any limitations on the types of situations or scenarios where the call scanner may struggle to, accurately detect voices, specifically like deepfake voices?
Again, mostly line quality issues. So if the quality is good, we detect it. But if the quality is not good, it's kind of out of our hands. So there's not much we can do at that point. We work with the signal that we receive, like with the audio that we receive.
And on
Got
the
it.
product side, we made sure to let the user know when we can't determine.
Right.
That's a very important point. So if we know, the user will get an answer. But if we can't figure out, we will tell that to the user so they will be aware that they need to still be on guard.
Right. So it's
Got
not a true false kind of thing.
Yeah.
There is a cannot determine
Cannot
result as well.
In terms of expansion, you mentioned that you're currently only working with English. I
Yes.
was wondering, because India is a pretty big base for Truecaller, whether there's plans for expansion to other languages as well, and sort of how that would go about, given how difficult it is probably to train for specific languages.
Yeah, so English obviously is easier. We are training it and working to train it towards Hindi. And about other languages, we will look into it. We don't have an ETA for that.
Got it. Yeah, please go ahead.
And obviously we want to launch in India.
Yeah.
This is next in the roadmap.
Yeah. So we will definitely, we're working to make it, to train it as many languages as possible. At least for the top 6 languages that are available in India, that are spoken in India.
In terms of like data availability, are you seeing any issues with training data being available in Hindi and other regional languages? Considering I'm assuming that you're already in the process of working on all of these.
You want to take it on?
Basically, to train the model, we need to train it on synthetic voices from all those tools available. So it's just a matter of just a lot of work to do. It's just a lot of work to get all those samples and put them in the model. So it's just an amount of time, effort. There's no significant issues for the Hindi language against English language.
What I'm sort of trying to understand is that is there enough data? Is there enough synthetic Hindi voices, enough synthetic voices in other Indian languages for you to accurately train the model? Yes,
there's enough, and the launch in India, I mean, it's confirmed. It will happen. The answer is yes.
Aside from the voice scanner, just like as a larger question, what are the sort of difficulties that you have faced, or generally people who are working on audio deepfake detection tend to face, sort of in terms of accuracy or just in general challenges and pitfalls?
General challenges.
The only thing that comes to my mind is the quality. Like, it's not, well, it's very different fields. In the field that we operate on, the telephony field, the quality is the main issue. So it's something that we struggle a lot with. I know I keep coming back to that, but
yeah, it's always easy in lab conditions,
right,
to have a model. You give
great.
It high quality. It works, very high. But then phone lines have various degrees of quality. So the quality can drop from 5G to 4G to 3G on a single call if you travel, right, in the train. And then even within the same sample, you can have different qualities or noise in the background. It's just in order to get a product to market that works, you need to account for many disturbances to the voice sample, and that is that requires a more robust model.
So are there situations, and this is just completely hypothetical, but could there be situations where, let's say I pick up a call and I have the Truecaller voice scanner on, and for like the first 5 minutes, it thinks this is a human being because the connection is not good enough. And then when the connection gets better, the scanner picks up and sort of tells me as soon as it can that this call is, a deepfake.
Yes, we built that into the product itself. So basically, we thought about a different scenario, but in fact, it's the same scenario you said. So what if a real person calls you and then tells you, let me hand you to my boss, and then he turns on the AI voice that sounds like your boss to make you send money somewhere. Those are very common scams that are happening as we speak. In the US, in India, people make voices that sound like CEOs of companies, and then they send WhatsApp voice clips, they send calls, all sorts of channels to employees to try to get money out somewhere, right? Now, if I'm smart, I can start with a real phone, a real person. I pass the AI voice test, and then I turn on this. So for this situation, we made the AI voice detection continuous. So basically, you can test whether it's an AI multiple times during the call. So if there's a new person coming up or you feel something is off, you can test again.
Okay, understood. That's pretty much everything that I wanted to know. This was super helpful. If there's anything else that you want to mention, please feel free to.
Anything?
Nothing special, just that we're very excited to be the first tool worldwide to do this for phone calls. And from here and on, I think that it will be a cat and mouse game. Yeah, basically, because the other side will keep inventing and innovating and trying to get better scams out there, and we will need to be on the watch and improve the model continuously. So this is how we think it's going to go.
Thank you for joining us. To learn more about Truecaller's voice scanner and about deepfakes in general, you can take a look at our website.